Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. I'm looking forward to talking to Debra Eckerling. Sorry about that. CEO and founder of the Deb Method. Deb, I want to just give a quick bio on you and, of course, thank our mutual friend Howard Brown for introducing us. You are a goal-setting expert, an award-winning author of your Goal Guide, a roadmap for setting, planning, and achieving your goals, and founder of the Deb Method, which is a system for goal-setting simplified. Well, let's talk about that, because as we sit here, it's December 10th, 2021. We have 2022 right around the corner. What a great time to have you on the show. I'm so glad the timing is perfect as we talk about setting goals for next year. Let's first, though, talk about goals for December, because I'm a big believer as we sit here, the remainder of this month, there is still a ton of time to have a very productive, busy month. I think clients are very active and will be for most of the month. So and I think you called this month Debcember. Wait, what is it?
Yes, no, it's Debcember.
Yeah.
So I start the year and end the year in Debcember. So there is some overlap because I think, and this started, first of all, thanks for having me on. Thanks, Howard,
Thank
for
you.
the show.
Thank you for having me on your show earlier. Yeah, this has been great. Yeah.
But this is what we do, right? We make new friends and we chat and we let other people watch.
Right.
Right. So a year ago, I started, when we couldn't get rid of 2020 fast enough, I start 2021 now, last December. And I can't even take credit. I was speaking at the Agora Pulse Social Pulse Summit in the VIP room. Someone said, "Oh, you're starting it in December." And I said, "Can I have it?" And absolutely, my gift to you. So I figured get a running start into last year works so well. Why don't we just get a running start into every year? And it really is the perfect time to still get a win or several wins, and also set yourself up for success in the new year. So you can hit January running.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's talk about. I love that you talk about goal setting in a simplified way. I do my best to make things as simple as possible. As a business coach, whether I'm working with a solopreneur, a fortune company, or anything in between, I find that being able to be an active listener, to bring things out that my clients can then access because of the questions that I'm asking, and then provide them a simple solution, is a great formula, right? And it's that epiphany of like, oh, how come I didn't see that? Or because it was hidden in plain sight. And many people need that person that can be the active listener, ask a question that allows them to access a new place. And again, to the simple. And so talk about, when you say simplified, what does that mean?
Well, my thinking, obviously the same as yours, changing a life's challenging enough. The instructions should be easy. So I made them super easy. And so the Deb Method, it's my system. It's really the foundation, because you can't get what you want unless you know what you want.
Correct.
And you're right. Sometimes it's that digging. What is the thing that you love? What are you so passionate about? Because that's what shows. When you really and it doesn't really matter what your business is. Well, that's not true. When you are building or growing or starting your business, if you start with the foundation of your mission, who you are, what's unique about you, what you have to offer the world, and also what you do help other people. So you start with that mission, that motto, and I'm talking backwards. So the D in the Deb Method is determine your mission. To get what you want, you need to know what you want. You need to know what unique elements you bring to the table, because we're all unique. And how does what you do, whether it is to inform, entertain, educate, or if it's a product or a service or whatever, but what is it that you do that helps other people? Because that fuel, that's going to propel any activity, because it's for the greater good.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, though. You said, oh, hey, I'm talking backwards, but I'm a big believer as a business coach that you you need to measure yourself backwards, right? I need to look at, if it's the end of December or beginning of December, I need to look back at the last quarter or the last 90 days and say, okay, how does that measure, right? And then set realistic goals for the upcoming quarter to make sure it's in alignment with my annual or 3-year business plan. So talk a little bit about how you measure backwards and set goals in the future.
And really the first step is visualization.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about the life you want, what does that look like? Why are you setting your goals? Or do you want to build your business, change your career, build your career, write a book, show your authority? Or maybe your goal is just work-life balance. The business part's going great, but you're so enmeshed in it. So you start with that. It starts with the vision. And from that, you take an inventory of where you are, where you want to go, and figure out the mission behind it. And I'm a big fan of the motto because mission statements can be very, very long. Mm-hmm. But your motto, and mine is Goal-Setting Simplified, that's the lens with which you can view any and every opportunity that comes your way. So it really starts with that piece. And then the E is explore your options. That's the research phase to say, okay, I want this, but what does that look like for me? And that is you giving yourself permission to really dive in to what you want to create. Because let's face it, the reason goals fail is people overthink them, they underthink them, they're maybe looking for something that was part of a previous path. I have all this education, I should keep going. Well, not if you're miserable. What can you do to take that education to do something that inspires you to help others?
Yeah, no, I love that. And so when you talk about goal setting, talk about what you recommend. Is it a 1 year? Is it by quarter? Is it a 3-year plan? Are they specific and measurable? Like, give kind of what's your philosophy as far as how to really get granular on goals?
Okay, so once you hit what you want to create, what you want to do, then it goes into the B, which is brainstorm your path. And that is really getting everything out of your head and onto the page. And you can do this exercise at the beginning of the year, or when you're facing change, or when you just need a reboot, but really throwing everything in your head onto the page so you can look at everything. Because we try to figure things out in our head, but when you can take a look at them, then you can divide and conquer. So by writing all of your goals, they're personal and professional, the long-term, the short-term, the benchmarks, the action items, and then divide and conquer. So say, okay, I've got this big page of things. These relate to growing my business. These relate to working with my clients. This to growing my expertise, this ongoing personal development. And the timeline is really your timeline. I always, like you, end of the year, you want to look back and look at your wins, because that's going to propel you forward to take an inventory of where you were successful, where you were falling short. But another part of my simplified method is to look at your life and see what is feasible for you. Yeah. Because if you're working full time and this is a side hustle, maybe you only have a few hours a week, but better to say, I'm working 3 hours a week on my passion project than say, I'm going to aim for 10. Yeah. Better to aim for 3 and do 5 or 6. Yeah. So you want to set yourself up for success. So
can we talk about that a little bit more? Because yes, I like please. What you're talking about as far as setting realistic goals and having this kind of ideal of what you want to do in a best case scenario that typically is way out of the law of proximity of what you've historically done and or historically do. And small goals consistently done compound over time in a very significant way. And so I find as a coach, people try to set these ideal goals, and then what happens is they can't do it, so they just do nothing. And so, right. So just going back to your comment earlier about going backwards, go backwards and talk about, as we talk about, like you said, simplified goals, which I love. Let's make them simple, right? So what does simple mean? where you can still feel the compound effects of small and simple versus thinking you got to go big or go home every single day with your goals.
Right. And I love the calendar. I think it's great. And so you make your monster list for your goals, but every week, every month, you make a mini monster list and say, okay, what does my schedule look like? What is feasible for me this week, this month? It's the holidays. Yes, you can still, and it's probably a little bit tamer over the last couple of years because I don't know about you, but most of my holiday parties are online. No travel, extra time, great.
Yeah.
But you have extra time commitments, and maybe over the summer you have kids, there are extra time commitments with camp or carpooling or whatever. Look at your life. And if in December, or as most people call December, you have a couple hours to commit to yourself, think of what you can realistically get done. I want everybody to have, well, I think if you can get a win a day, great. A win or 2 or 3 a week, even better. But when you look at your year, start with that. What was your biggest win in January, February, each month, and list them out. And if you're having trouble thinking of what those are, then going into the new year, start tracking them. At the end of the week, well, and this is one of my other things, is scheduling and or tracking time. So let's say you look at your week, you know you have 3 hours for yourself. Great, yay, exciting. You don't quite know what they are. So schedule 3 1-hour appointments. The rule is you can move the appointments, you can't delete them. And then after you've done the work, make a note about what you've accomplished, because then at the end of the week or the month, when you feel like, oh my goodness, it's taking forever, you can go back and look at your calendar and say, oh, wait, I did all these things. I'm in much better shape than I thought. And setting yourself up for success is all about recognizing and celebrating your progress, because that will propel you forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really, really important piece that a lot of people forget. Really take inventory of your wins, of the gains that you have, evolved through the last week, the last month, the last quarter, specifically the last year, as we are planning into next year, and set your goals based on who you are today, not who you were 12 months ago on the same day. So I love what you're talking about. So real quickly, tell everybody, before we move into a quick speed round, your books. Tell everybody where all the books you've written.
Well, this is my 3rd book. I've written 2 others I've got that are online only: Purple Pencil Adventures, Writing Prompts for Kids of All Ages, because I was coaching people on books and I said, I want to write one. So that, and Write on Blogging, 51 Tips to Create, Write, and Promote Your Blog. Those are both ebook only on Amazon. And then Your Goal Guide, a roadmap for setting, planning, and achieving your goals, is really, it's like the gift you give yourself or to a loved one who needs that reboot and wants to really go rolling into the new year. And this is the first section goes through Deb. The second half is all about strategies for success. And then there are worksheets and resources. And there's also a Facebook group for those reading your goal guide, so they can share their journey and ask questions.
Good. We have a question from Leon Gavartin, who happens to be my cousin. What's up, Leon? How do you feel about setting goals? He manages people for agents versus agents setting goals for themselves.
I think you need to do both.
I agree.
If you are the
agree.
business,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You set the goals and then encourage your clients to set the goals themselves, because that way everybody wins.
Yeah.
And especially as a coach, and I'm sure you know this too, John, you have to treat yourself as a client. Yeah. It's not just about, because the more people who know about you, the more people you can help.
Right. And I think it's important for people who manages people to kind of create a plan. So because you a lot of times know what that person's highest potential is more so than they do, and then have them build their plan and then coach them, inspire them, and evolve them through the year to continually hit their highest potential. And I think you can really help them grow a ton. Thanks, Leanne, for asking that. Deb, quick speed round. You ready?
Yes.
One thing, finish this sentence. One thing people can do who have never really put their goals on paper. One thing they can do is
brainstorm. Just start free writing everything you've ever wanted in life.
Yeah.
And just keep on going. And then if you do this 2, 3, or 4 times, I call this directed journaling, then you can go back and find the common themes of the things that you really write, that really excite you. They're there on paper, waiting for you to say, okay, time for this.
Yeah. And we all, I think, have the power to access that. We just need to find the space and take the space and time to do it. Favorite book and why, Debra?
My favorite book and why? Oh, that's too hard because I love my book. I think Save the Cat is a really good book for those who want a very simple way of plotting storylines, whether it's their own or something they're writing. And I also like The Writer's Journey by Chris Vogler, which is the hero's journey for writers. I know it always comes to the writer's books. I'll just look in my book because I've got a bunch of books that I love. But favorite, I just moderated a kidlit panel, so we'll blame this one. There's a book I read as a kid called A Warm Fuzzy Tale about a kid who's getting all the cold. It's the difference between the cold pricklies and the warm fuzzies, and there's always more good in the world. The more good you give out, the more you get back. And I think that's a lesson that's good. It's just as relevant now as it is when we were kids.
All right, I love it. I love it. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Follow your passion. From my mom. She's the cheerleader's cheerleader. When you do the things that you love, it shows. Just like when you do the things you don't love, it shows. So do the things you love.
I love it. All right, tell people how they can connect with you, where they can buy your book, and all that other good stuff.
Okay, you can grab your copy of your goal guide on Amazon. It's available in ebook, audiobook, and actual book, or at your favorite place to buy books. It's available everywhere. And you can find me at thedebmethod.com, or you can just go to debsember.com to learn more about me and my coaching and my events for this month as we wrap up one year and go running into the next. And you can follow at The Deb Method everywhere, or email info@thedebmethod, and connect on LinkedIn because you can't reach your goals on your own. You need your peeps. So please be one of my peeps.
I love it. Debra, always a pleasure. I enjoyed being on your podcast. I enjoy getting to know you. I always enjoy what you have to say. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. Think community. Goal setting is so important. So many people don't do it. So many people do it and then put it away and don't look at it till the next year. Your goal setting, your business plan should be something that is a living document that you look at every single day, evolve it on a consistent basis, measure yourself backwards, remember the gains and the wins, appreciate and enjoy all of the little things that you learn, and set simple goals. Debra, I appreciate your time. Think community. Thank you so much. And Debra, we'll definitely talk again. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year. And remember, you can do it.
All right. That's good. Yep.